And welcome back to Cigar Time, your friendly neighborhood TV show all about premium cigars.
That's a misnomer.
It is.
Which one?
Which
It's
part?
about 25% premium cigars.
Oh, I thought you meant friendly.
25% crap that we don't like, that nobody cares about.
I thought you meant friendly.
It's friendly.
Yeah, we can be.
Friendly to the people watching.
On a good day. I'm sorry, I had to light my cigar.
No. My bad. I thought we had a
Beat
new
me to it.
display, but we don't. It's the same one we've had for 8 years.
8 years. We've been in this studio for 8 years.
Something like that, yeah. So we
We're
watched
coming
the-
up, actually.
Did we
we're-
watched the tape? No.
We didn't do that.
No,
We
didn't do that
started
either.
in the lounge.
Oh, we started over
Then
here.
we
started
moved
over there.
back
No, we
here.
started
Oh, we
over
did the
here.
radio show in the lounge.
Right, radio show. We did that for
We
a
did the
year.
radio show back in there, didn't we?
Yes,
In that cubby hole?
yes. Actually, I think
No.
where we're sitting now.
Nah.
Before
They
that,
redid
we
it
did
all.
it in the main big lounge.
We did it a couple times, but the first show was
The first show was out
right
front,
there in front of the humidor.
in front of the humidor, yeah.
Yeah.
December 10th, 2013 is our
7
first
people
show.
on the panel.
Yeah, it's coming up
We were up on a
How did
Nine
we
and a- nine and
fit
a half
7
years.
people?
because it was a big table.
It was a bigger table.
Yeah, much bigger.
Yeah, I brought a table from Colmar.
Yeah. December 10th was our first show. So it's what?
The day that will not live in infamy.
No. It will not.
There's no for me at all.
No.
In or otherwise. No infamy, no
All right.
other for me.
Today
there's no wheat in cigar.
Every time I light one up, I think, wee,
Yeah. Oh my God.
All the way home.
Yeah.
wee. This little piggy
Today we're
goes,
smoking the Don
Wee,
Pepin
wee.
TAA cigar. It is
it's called the Pepin.
Pepin.
It doesn't say TA on it anywhere.
It doesn't.
It does on the box.
Yeah. On the band does not say it. But it comes in 3 sizes. This is the first TAA cigar that actually had different sizes.
Multiple sizes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Comes in a Robusto Toro and a
Toro
Toro
Gordo.
Gordo. Yeah. 6x60.
Yeah.
This is the Torah.
It is the Toro.
How many is this? Dollars.
15,
15.90?
something.
15 and change.
Below $16. It's between 15 and 16.
$15.99 and a half.
Yeah, something. I forget.
It's somewhere between 10 and 30.
Well, as a general rule,
Narrowing it down, 15 and 16. Somewhere in between there.
why don't you tell us about the blend, Scott?
It's Nicaragua.
Puro?
Yeah. Coro 99.
Is it?
I assume it's grown in Nicaragua, yeah.
I think it might be Ecuadorian, actually.
I really don't care.
You don't care?
I don't care what you think.
Oh, I thought you meant you don't care where the wrapper is from.
Yeah, look it up, Paul, while I light my cigar.
I'm going to do that.
Since you already lit yours.
I would. My phone's being used to be on Facebook Live. How you guys doing?
Hey, Facebook Live.
Hey, Guy, how are you?
Why do you ignore Instagram Live?
I don't have Instagram.
So?
Hi, Instagram
Live.
Live.
Rob, while Paul's proving me right, why don't you talk more about the TAA?
TAA. It's the Tobacco Association of America. Tobacconist. Same thing. Association of America.
You're stupid.
I know. There's only 73 of them in the entire country, which we are one.
It's like 80.
It's somewhere around 80. Between 70 and 80.
Somewhere between 50
15
and
and
1,000.
16. Yeah,
Well, the bottom line, though, is we're the only ones in eastern Pennsylvania.
that is correct.
I think you'd have to go past Harrisburg to get to another one.
Or in Harrisburg, actually. Greg Zimmerman.
Greg.
Zimmerman's
The tobacco store?
I forget what it's called.
The Tobacco Company. I
Tobacco
think.
Is that what,
Company,
is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
yeah.
I just know it's Greg's store.
Greg and Dave.
Yeah. I like Craig too. I mean, Dave too.
So they make certain cigars just specifically for the TAA members, which again we are one of.
And there's 40, I believe, approximately 40 cigar companies that are part of the TAA,
Yeah.
of which
We
Don
are-
Pepin, or my father's cigar company, is one.
Yes.
You will be happy to know that I have in fact proved you right.
I didn't need you to.
He's always right. Just say that.
No,
No,
I
I was wrong the
refuse
other
to
day.
say that. He's wrong plenty, but not this time.
Exactly.
Every time you talk to your wife, you're wrong.
Well, that's a
given.
That's redundant. I'm going to report you to the
Yeah.
Department of Redundancy Department.
Yeah, exactly.
You know that one.
Yes. Have
Well,
you
Paul, I think I wrote.
He is here, and we're just gonna.
You called? It said Nicaraguan Puro. Was that half what you were looking at?
Yeah.
Did it say so?
Bless you.
Bless you.
Every time I retrohale. Did it say something about a Criollo 99?
It is a Corojo 99.
Oh, Corojo. Duh.
You're stupid.
You gotta say it louder.
You're stupid.
Well, you say it wrong. You can't just say you're stupid. Yeah, you're stupid.
You're stupid.
You know what that's from?
No.
Friends.
No. Okay. Anyway,
I can't say that.
has anyone had this cigar?
Nope, it's the first one.
I know
I
you
have.
have. And I
Well,
have.
I try to smoke everything within the first 10 minutes that it's in the door.
Then again, that's a fact. That's true.
And continuously for the
Paul,
rest
that
of
may
the
have been
day.
one of the funniest things you've said. That was very funny.
It's absolutely true, though.
It is true.
Yeah.
Within the first few minutes, I take a picture of it, I smoke it, I rate it, I post about it, and I read about it to see if anybody else agrees with what I posted about it. And then I just sit back and enjoy it.
And that's all before it goes on the shelf.
Yeah.
Okay. It's early. Does this taste like a prototypical My Father cigar?
No, absolutely.
Not at all.
And that's what he put on his
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he?
on his
On my post,
Post,
I
yeah.
said, this
Oh, really?
is not your father's my father.
yeah
No kidding.
yeah. There's no
None of
pepper
that pepper blast to
in the
open.
beginning, Yeah.
It doesn't even.
I mean, I'm still getting a
necessarily-
little bit of the pepper, but it's not a blast like you would expect from a typical Nicaraguan.
Getting little hints that I think maybe would tell me it's Nicaraguan, but it's not your quintessential
No.
Don
Nicaraguan
Pepin?
either.
No. And to
This is
me,
extremely interesting.
to me, this opens with the flavors that a typical Don Pepin gets after the pepper settles down and you start to taste everything. That's what this tastes like from the get-go.
Yeah.
That is an extremely boring cigar band, and I love it.
Absolutely.
It's
retro.
straightforward.
It's retro. It looks
I love
retro.
it.
Yeah.
Very classic.
I'd get a close up, but our producer's occupied.
Cameraman's occupied.
Here we go. There.
Woohoo! Don't burn the table.
Yeah,
cloth.
really. Get it off
We'd
the
have to get a
cloth.
new one, then we'd be clean.
He can take a picture of it.
Yeah,
and
that's what I
you can get it off the and put a Chiron up. Show you what it looks like.
Okay.
Smoke production is superb.
Yes. It is a retro-looking band. It really is cool.
Yeah.
To you. It's very good. Nice band.
You
That
two
used to be
had this
part of-
before. What size did you have? Same size, or
I had a Robusto.
I had a Toro.
was the Robusto any different?
It was shorter.
Well, there you go, folks. Words of wisdom.
No, I
He's
found
not wrong.
I found the
That's why you have
flavor
them on the show.
I found the flavor profile to be about the same as the Toro.
Is this your first Toro?
No,
No, you've had. Oh, you've had.
I had a
multiple.
second one.
Okay.
I had a Robusto instantly,
Slacker. I
Right.
expected you to have all three.
and then yesterday I had a Toro.
Okay.
I wouldn't expect the Robusto and the Toro to be a ton different. What is it like?
It's
4/60th
virtually the
of a-
same ring gauge, virtually, and it's just very
Just-
little bit shorter.
Yeah,
It's an inch shorter.
yeah. So your surface area,
Burning surface is the
wrapper
same,
to-
and your
to
ratios are
ratio-
the same.
Yeah.
for most part, yeah.
If you went with a much thinner ring gauge, which to me in a cigar like this would be really interesting.
Now, what I know I got him yesterday, but I just noticed the Toro. What besides the Robusto? What's the third size?
Toro
Toro
Gordo, 6x60.
6x60.
6x6. Okay.
You know, the one for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I put them.
I will
out
not
there.
smoke that cigar.
It's too big.
No, perfect.
Not enjoyable.
It's perfect.
Hurts your jaw.
Personal preference.
That's why they make them.
What do you guys think of the strength so far? I can't. I'm not sure.
Right
getting
now I'm at a 2.
I'm about a 2.5.
I'm about a 2 also. It's
thinking-
not strong.
I'm thinking 3.
It's not typically strong like a,
Not
like
yet,
a regular my father. Or,
I know it will get stronger.
Stronger.
Yeah. It's sneaky.
It doesn't turn into a heavy cigar though,
No.
at any point. I think a Corona of this blend would be unspeakably good. But they don't make that, so
No.
never mind.
I'm getting a sunflower seed,
Salted or unsalted?
unsalted.
With the
Hey,
shell?
really?
No shell.
I'm getting a barnyard taste.
Oh, you know what? I meant to talk about the pre-light aroma. We were talking about it before you got in here, Rob. But I thought it smelled just like the fermentation room, without the. I mean, there's a touch of ammonia, but without the, making your eyes switch sides, ammonia. But
No, the good smells of the fermentation
yes,
book.
yeah,
It's one of the best smells in the
that,
world, man.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
if you can take it.
I could live in
Some
an
people
aging room and be
Oh, an
perfectly
aging
happy.
room or this is more fermentation.
Fermentation barn. I could live in the fermentation barn for the rest of my life, but I would probably ferment away
Yeah.
because there's so much tobacco in me now that if it started fermenting, I would just dissolve.
Moose, what do you think? First impressions?
damn good. Good generation of smoke, burning fairly evenly. The tastes started off a little peppery, more peppery than I thought it would, but it's calmed down. Now I'm getting tastes I haven't quite figured out yet, but it's tasty. It's very good.
Paul?
I find that it's already changing. I'm about an inch in, and now I'm developing some pepper, but it's interesting. It's very mild, but it's very distinct, and it's around the outer edges of my palate. Not the middle at all, not the front, not the tip, not the back, the outer edges. Just a hint of pepperiness there. I like this cigar. I like it a lot already.
Scott?
I got the sunflower seeds. I'm getting a little tiny citrusy, like a sour note. We'll go with citrus. There's something else. There's another flavor that's in there that I haven't figured out yet.
It's almost floral.
You know what? Maybe that's
There
what
is
it
a hint of
I'm
floral
getting
to
that.
this.
That's what I was going to say. I'm getting a floral note.
I
wonder if
also,
the- maybe the
I also
floral
think
is
it's
the-
walnuts, not sunflower seeds.
Oh,
but
yeah?
that's just my impression.
Okay, Paulie.
Oh, you want that?
No.
You walked into that one.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you know
That's
what?
not what people call me, though.
The floral
They
is
call me Cerebral Paulie because of the way my hands shake.
I
And I
wasn't
think-
going to go there.
I
but
do think
okay.
it's.
That is the
It
best
doesn't-
nickname anyone's ever given me. I think
it
that's
doesn't
hysterical.
taste full strength. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I think it's similar to like the Oliva V, where it's sneaky full strength. Like
Yeah.
it's so smooth you don't notice it.
Until
Yeah.
the nicotine hits,
Yeah.
and then you
I mean,
notice.
that
Like,
it.
I
that'd
just-
probably
I-
be in the last inch or so that the nicotine really kicks in.
I feel a little bit of it now.
Another
Really?
thing that I
Yeah.
like about this cigar is it does not have a stark white ash. And a lot of people prize a white ash. To me, as a tobacco blender, a dark ash or a mottled ash is indicative of more variety in the chemical composure of the composition of the different leaves. And I think that's always better.
Isn't it also a result of where the tobacco's from?
Well,
Like-
absolutely. The amount of magnesium or the amount of other particular minerals have big impact on the color of the ash.
This wrapper is really rough. It's a rough wrapper.
Yeah, and it's
It's
a
classically Corojo, actually.
Yeah.
If you look at
does
it,
have a
and
little
if you
reddish hue
feel
to
it, it's got that Corojo
I
look
know
to it.
there's a lot of people out there that like their, silky smooth,
Yeah.
perfect wrapper. I prefer one that's a little rougher. I mean, it looks natural. It looks like it's handmade.
Right.
Looks like
I
it
do.
came from the ground.
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting a barnyard taste, but I'm also getting the floral notes that you were saying, Moose.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and I am too. I don't think I could have. I don't think I could have picked that up without you saying it. But now that you mention it, I think I'm getting that.
I'm not getting any of the cocoa taste that's usually indicative of Nicaraguan tobacco. Yeah. The retro hail to me is a little on the harsh side,
Yep.
but it's a very pleasant. It's a very very pleasant aroma, taste, or whatever you want to call it. So you put up with the harshness of it. Bless you.
Now
See?
you're affecting me.
But I'll put up with that harshness just because I like. It's not that. Is the taste of it.
What did I do?
Blue smoke on my face.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm enjoying it.
Cool. Yeah, so am I. I read an article, actually this morning about.
Made magazine.
I don't think so.
Okay.
That European imports in what they call New World cigars, which I guess is the Dominican, Nicaragua, Honduras, Ecuador, are look like they're about 25% up, but Cuban I think the first time Cuban exports are way down, and I think it's partially because of the price increase, because some cigars nearly tripled in price, and the other is I think there was a I didn't realize this, but they're in the Pinar del Rio area
In Cuba, where
in
they
Cuba
yeah.
had a big Hurricane Ian last year, and it like pretty much devastated the crop. So and that's one of the biggest growing regions.
Yeah, but you wouldn't see that. That was last year, and you wouldn't see that. You'd see it in the pipeline, but you wouldn't see it as a reduction of end product.
You shouldn't.
Right away.
You shouldn't. I don't know.
A year, you can't even get the tobacco ready in a year. They might rush production of the cigars, but you can't rush the tobacco.
They're acting like gas companies.
You know what, Paul?
Doesn't
you're
matter.
probably right. I was reporting what the article said, but I didn't think about it like that. But yeah, you're actually probably right. So it's probably more due to the price, and I bet you it's also because they've been introduced to cigars from other countries, and they're starting to realize, like this one, like hey, like this is
Why
every bit as
spend?
good as.
Why spend $40 or more on a typical Cuban
For
when you can
years-
get something that tastes like this for $15?
For years, my
15 or
opinion is
16.
Nicaraguan cigars are as good, if not better, than Cubans.
Oh, absolutely.
I
I've
think on the
smoked my
whole,
fair
yes,
share
but
of Cubans.
there are some
There are-
Cuban cigars that are out of
A
this
few,
world.
yeah.
And there are
they're-
some Nicaraguans that
Are horrible.
really, really suck.
Well, it's anywhere. It doesn't matter where they're made.
One of my best-selling cigars is a Nicaraguan Puro, and I don't like it a little bit.
Which one?
I'm not going to say
Why?
because it's the Asylum 13. Oh, you made me say it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Asylum 13. First off, the size. Well, I only carry the 6x60, but it's all Nicaraguan, and I'm like, I shouldn't say I don't like it a little bit. Like
It's not a go-to cigar.
not even close. But also, I was one of the reasons I'm glad they talked about weather is there was also I don't know if you guys heard about the hailstorm in Florida that pretty much ruined the Florida-grown tobacco crop.
No, I didn't
Really?
hear
I
about
didn't hear
that.
about that.
I think it was like a month or two ago. But yeah, I saw I think I saw a video of it on Instagram, and it was just like the tobacco was just shredded.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I
So
can see that.
that's
Filler.
a shame.
Well, they don't get a lot of hail down in the Caribbean, so
Caribbean.
So tobacco isn't resistant to that.
We don't get a lot of hail in Florida either.
We did that one day.
One day, yeah. Evidently.
Wait a minute. Every time Art walks into one of the stores in Sarasota,
Somebody yells
everybody's exactly. Somebody says hail.
Somebody yells hail.
And there's also some good news in the where we talked a couple of times about the we call it a generational ban. I think that's what they're calling it when nobody can. They say there's a ban on if you're born after a certain date, like 2005.
Yeah.
Even if you're 40 years old, you can be 2045 and you can't buy tobacco. But it's gotten zero traction.
Really?
Yeah.
Which state was that?
There were 3 states. The one we specifically discussed was California, and I believe the other was Nevada, and the other 2 were Nevada and Hawaii, but don't hold me to that.
Okay.
I'm going on memory. I was too excited to hear that they, which
Got no traction.
it kind of makes sense that, but we're talking about government, so common sense and government don't go hand in hand.
Not at all.
Oxymoron.
Yeah, not at all. I don't understand how people still live in California. I
They
really
don't. Well, they do, but a lot of them are moving to Texas and trying to make it like California.
I know, it doesn't make any sense.
Chachi
just-
just left.
Who?
Chachi.
No way.
Chachi.
Holy
Yeah,
cow.
I read that. Yeah,
Does
yeah.
Joni still love him?
No,
Joni's dead.
she dead.
Joni's
Grandma's
dead.
Yeah. Who?
Erin Moran. Sorry.
Anna Moran. Yeah, she died a couple of years ago.
Nobody told me.
Yeah.
Did you go?
What did she
I'm open
die
to
Did you
of?
go to the
ideas.
service?
I did not.
Do you know what she died from?
I don't know.
Sorry, I don't mean to depress everybody out there. Facebook
I
land.
need a moment. I just found this out. All right.
You're crushed.
That's a shame. What was I going to say?
I don't know. You were talking about generational.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Yeah, they're all moving out of California and then going to a different city and then trying to make that city just the way like the city they just left.
It's a democratic
makes-
conspiracy.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
You know what though? As a country, aren't we a little bit like that? Like everybody was all up in arms and couldn't. Not everybody, but all these people couldn't stop watching the coronation of the king. I'm like,
I didn't watch
didn't
one
we?
s-
Didn't we create an entire country to get away from that? And yet you people are still enamored
yeah.
with a freaking king.
I didn't
That's
watch one
a
second of it. Not
that's
one
an
second.
elderly man who is ecstatic because now he has a job and he's not living off his mother anymore.
What's he living off of?
Yes.
The hard work of the peasants.
Yeah,
right.
that's it. The work
I
of the
don't.
serfs.
I just don't understand the fascination with that.
I don't get it.
Isn't it the complete antithesis of everything this country
I
has
had-
stood for?
Yes.
This person's in power because his great, 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 great.
Keep going. Yeah.
Right. Like
Mother.
One.
whatever. Mother,
Yeah.
grandfather, grandmother. Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but it is what it is.
But I digress.
No, you don't.
I do. About that.
In general.
He looks odd
Nuts.
wearing that crown.
Well, who would not look odd wearing that crown?
I don't know.
Henry VIII, maybe?
Yeah,
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
it is.
There was a certain that guy that had that commercial where he looked good in it.
Which guy?
I don't remember.
The butter,
Burger King?
the butter commercial. Remember?
Maybe, is
Was
that
it
what
Imperial? Imperial butter?
Imperial
Yes.
margarine.
Margarine.
Margarine,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Every time you would eat it, crown would appear on your head.
Yeah, it never worked for me.
No, me neither.
It was a better looking crown than what old Chucky boy got.
Yeah.
Probably not worth as much
No,
money,
no.
but it was a better looking crown.
What did that thing weigh?
I don't know.
Considering all the jewels on it, I'm surprised his head stayed up.
Right.
Oh, no, that's right, he was sleeping. I'm sorry. I actually had a customer ask me if I was going to open up at 6 a.m. to put the car
To
in.
put on.
You did it, really? Oh my God.
That's pitiful.
Yeah.
Did you kick them out?
Okay,
Did you tell
permanently?
them never to come back?
No, I couldn't stop laughing.
Couldn't ban him. You didn't ban him.
Stop laughing long enough to ban him from the store. So I have a question for the group.
Okay.
Based on the experience of this cigar so far, what liquor or beer or adult beverage of whatever sort would you pair it with?
I'm going with the classic. No, not what you think. Not what you think.
Okay.
Famous Grouse,
Ah, nice.
the Highland Scotch.
Okay.
It's very smooth, very drinkable. Even though it's 85 proof, very drinkable, and it would just pair nicely with this. They wouldn't fight each other, like some liquors would fight with the taste of the cigar. It would just be very smooth and drinkable, and be great.
Oh, I'm next. I would actually go with a wild turkey, and funny you went with a grouse. I go with a turkey, but the reason that I would, and I'm thinking one of the higher proof wild turkeys, but wild turkey is a high rye bourbon, and it balances the spiciness of the rye with the sweetness of the bourbon, and I think that would just pick up all of these softer flavors that are in this cigar and really blow them out.
Okay.
Not overwhelm them, but push them.
Okay. Scott?
I would pair it with this bourbon I bought in LBI. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, it must have made a real impression.
It did. I'm pretty sure it's called Riff.
New Riff. New Riff is a brand.
Maybe, but it was cask strength. It was 110 or 11 proof.
Right.
It's because they didn't water it down. They didn't add anything to it, and it was strong, but the flavor was phenomenal. It was like drinking a combination of melted caramel and honey. It was fantastic. And I'm not you guys know I'm not a huge drinker, but you're that or Kahlua.
What?
You're that or Kahlua.
Ugh.
I like sweet. That's why one of the only things I drink is bourbon.
It is sweet.
Sorry. As for me,
Just put Riff. Don't put no.
I would. This sounds like it's going to sound like a cop out, but I would actually drink Gentleman Jack with this because of the smoothness of it
Yeah, that would be a good one too.
and the smoothness of this cigar. I think would complement the cigar really well. But that's a cop out because I drink that all the time. So.
Well,
Yeah,
that's-
you
you
pair
know,
it
is
with
everybody
pretty
pair it
much
with
everything.
pretty much
Everybody knows Jack's my go-to drink also.
I know.
But
That's what I thought you were going to do, but
yeah,
You drink Kahlua with me in Vegas.
that's true.
Well, actually, it was more like a Black Russian or a White Russian.
Black Russian, no White Russian. Black Russians. I can't get enough of them.
Did it look like that? Well, you ruined it.
There's
like
nothing
that.
on the screen.
Pat, you out there? My friend had it with me. Is that what we had? Yeah, it must be it. Yes, actually, it does look like that, but it was a lot more expensive.
I'm sorry.
Well,
There's-
that might
a
not be the
wounded
barrel.
judge in the
That
house.
might not be the barrel strength one.
Is it somebody's phone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not mine.
What it is?
It's vibrating.
I think so.
You got the vibrato going, huh?
I think that was it, Paul. But it was
Yeah.
fantastic. And I
It's
I
called
doubt
New Riff.
I doubt it. Is it available in Pennsylvania?
Yes,
In a cast strength?
I believe so.
Oh, really? Huh. It
But-
was fantastic.
So that's what I would pair. Even though it was a cop out.
Just a little bit.
A little bit of a cop out,
Not
but
honey, not Jack Daniel's honey or anything like that.
no. Fire. I like Jack Daniel's fire.
Fire.
That's good.
All they do
But
is take
you don't
regular
like
Jack
cinnamon.
Daniels and add cinnamon to it.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
From a guy that doesn't like cinnamon.
I know. I like it when it's overly cinnamon. Like Trident gum is like incredibly
Do you like
good.
cinnamon buns?
No.
Like a Cinnabon?
Nope.
You like hot cinnamon,
I
not
like hot
sweet
cin-
cinnamon.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
That's what it is. I don't know why.
Okay then.
Don't
I-
try to figure me out.
I used to know a stripper named Hot
Hot
Cinnamon.
I'm sure you did.
I was
That's
waiting
not
for
the
that.
one who was up in the. That's not the one.
I'm not going.
to.
I just threw that out there and I'm done
Used
with
to.
it. Yeah. Operative word, used to.
I don't think so.
No,
It's not the one that was in the Where was it? You had, was that you? I think it was.
What? I don't.
You told us a story about a
That wasn't a stripper, that was a hooker.
hooker, yeah.
Oh, you mean the $1,000 one
Yeah, the
that I
$1,000.
vomited all over?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not going to tell that
was
story
that her?
again.
That wasn't-
No,
that
no, no.
wasn't Hot Cinnamon?
Did you vomit on the top of her head?
Her name was Nancy, and the only reason I know that is because she left me a note saying, "I'm sorry you got so sick. I had to clean up. You owe me big time. Love, Nancy."
Oh,
So I know her name was Nancy.
okay. There's not much difference between the two.
Nancy and Hot Cinnamon?
No, strippers and hookers.
It's a
Cigar's
matter
starting
of.
to change a little bit for me.
This got a lot smoother than it started out.
There's another flavor going on that it's going
I'm
to be one
getting
of
more
those
pepper.
crazy flavors that I like new car smell thing that I come out with.
You say you got more pepper?
A little more pepper, yeah.
I'm not getting any pepper.
It's not strong, but I'm getting more pronounced.
I
native
haven't
pepper.
been like my palate's kind of messed up over the last month. In fact, this is actually the first cigar I've had since Friday.
Really?
Oh my God. I
Well,
can't
at least you're
even.
smoking a
I
good
can't
one.
even
That's why you said you were
imagine
sick.
that.
At least you're
This
smoking
might
a good
only be
one.
like the 10th cigar I've had in the last month, and 5 of those were on the TV show.
You said you were sick this weekend, though, so
Well, this weekend. Yeah.
So I'm going to have to smoke double today.
for him.
No. Tomorrow I'm having a cracked tooth extracted, and then they're going to tell me not to smoke for a couple of days for dry socket.
When did
So I got to make up in advance.
I never
smoked-
listened to him about that stuff.
I usually don't either, but dry socket is no fun. I usually smoke anyway, but I usually jam something in wherever the empty spot was
never-
and leave it there.
Back
I
when
had
this
one-
happened, I had a tooth extracted, and they stitched it. And that night I was drinking and had steak dinner and
Smoked.
smoked.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That night,
I did too.
and it was fine.
I don't mess with that. It's... Paul, you said you wanted to talk about the Dominican Republic.
Well, last week we were talking about the history of Dominican tobacco and Dominican cigars.
And you yada yada through 300 years of it.
Yada yada, that's what I did. So we talked about the fact that Cuban seed tobacco was introduced to the Dominican Republic on a commercial basis by. I feel like I should wait until he's done
Yeah.
quacking.
Okay.
I feel like I'm duck hunting.
It's the
Then shoot it.
It's vibrate, but it's kind of loud.
So, Cuban seed was brought to the Dominican Republic commercially by Carlos Terrano Sr.
When was this?
19,
like
actually
14?
1919, I think it was.
Maybe a little later than that.
Okay, but his company started in 1919.
Yes.
Was it 1919? That's good.
But he brought seeds from, as you just mentioned earlier, Vuelta Abajo to plant in the Dominican Republic.
No, I didn't mention that. I said Pinard over here.
And the tobacco that he brought, you're right, you did say
I can't
Pinard.
pronounce blah, blah.
Vuelta Abajo.
Right, that one. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, what he said.
The tobacco that they created, they called Piloto Cubano, which literally means Cuban pilot, and it's because he flew the seeds over himself.
Oh, that makes sense then.
So it was Cuban pilot tobacco. So there are actually
Excuse me, excuse
3 primary growing regions in the Dominican Republic. In the northwest, there's an area called La Canela, and the soil there is super rich. The tobacco that grows there is very full-bodied and also rich.
That's not something you usually associate with Dominican Republic.
No, and it's low-yield farms. So they don't have a lot of it, and they just use a little bit in the filler blends. In southwest Dominican Republic, there's an area called Jacagua, or Yacagua. It's very tropical.
That's a bit
It's
confused with Chicago.
right.
He's so proud. He's just so proud of yourself.
I laugh at my own jokes. They're good.
That
Me too, I'm the only one
tobacco.
who laughs at mine.
My job is to tell them. Your job is to let me know if they're bad or good.
That was pretty good.
the tobacco that comes from that area, because the soil is tropical, it's wetter all the time, it's warmer all the time, and the farms are even smaller. They're virtually micro farms.
I've never heard of those two areas.
Me neither.
La Canela, you haven't heard of? I'm surprised. That's fairly commonly known.
You calling me stupid?
No, but now that you mention it,
Oh, that was your cue.
that
enjoying
tobacco,
cigar.
the tobacco that's grown on those little farms is very similar to the stuff that comes from La Canela, but it's a more refined tobacco. It has a slightly more sophisticated taste. In the Middle West, there's an area called Navarrete. There, the soil is harsh. The yields are very low, so the farms are much, much bigger. And that's where the vast volumes of commercial tobacco come from.
You're making up these names. You're just making up words now. I've never heard of these places.
No, all you've heard of is Santiago.
Yeah.
But Santiago,
Tamboril.
which is a suburb of Santiago.
Okay.
So you've heard of that because that's the region that encompasses most of this.
Okay.
These are
And it's
microregions
where
inside
the
of a larger region.
no, it's just Santiago is almost like a state within the Dominican Republic, and in that state there are different areas that are very different than each other.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's like Pennsylvania. You got Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. You know.
Honestly, I'm with Rob. I'm not saying you're lying this time, but I've never heard of those either.
I should just go home
No.
or
But
back
yeah,
out, and I should go
no.
back out in the fields. That's where I should go.
Yeah, I would trust
Can't
you.
pronounce
I
any of
obviously
these
trust
things.
you.
Navetta, you said?
Navarrete.
Navarrete.
Never had to heard of it.
So the soil is harsh, the yields are small, the farms are very big, and the tobaccos that come from there are Olor, which is kind of a dry,
I've heard of that.
salty kind of tobacco
Yeah.
that they use in filler. And of course they grow the Piloto Cubano there too. The last area is called San Vicente. And
I've heard of that. Yeah,
Congratulations.
San Vicente, yes.
And
Very, very specific flavor comes to that tobacco too.
yes, it does. It's way less powerful, and mostly what they grow in San Vicente are hybrids.
Okay.
All of this tobacco is used in virtually everything that you're going to get from the Dominican Republic in one quantity or another. The blends might be really different, but they all use pretty much all of it. Probably the most famous tobacco to come out of the Dominican Republic is a tobacco, they just call it rosado, but it's it's a shade-grown Cubana tobacco, only grown on Chateau de la Fuente, and it's the tobacco that they use for the Opus wrapper.
Horrible.
Um,
Is that out loud?
Do they use that same wrapper on the ESG?
I've heard that, but I don't know that.
ESG or VSG?
ESG.
ESG.
VSG comes from Ecuador.
Yeah, VSG is the sun-grown Ecuadorian. ESG, I've heard it said that it was the same wrapper. But I've also heard that there's an Ashton that, in the classic line, in the white line, that uses some Opus filler in
That's
it.
the Majestic. Or whatever.
The Majesty.
Majesty, yeah. It's the 6x60.
Yes.
It's an Opus filler with a Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper. Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
It's funny how stories start because I heard at one point it was VSG filler. It was the VSG blend with a Connecticut wrapper. But somebody got in touch with one of the Levins and they said, no, that's not true. So maybe yours is.
What? It's the Opus filler?
No, they said it wasn't the VSG. So it could be Opus. Although I can't, who knows? I mean,
Well,
I've
they've
smoked
done
both
that before,
cigars.
haven't they, with the añejos?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the añejo is a
Yes.
different wrapper, but
Yeah,
it's a
the binder
opus
and fillers an opus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
With a-
opus.
with
And
a
I like
Maduro
that.
wrapper.
It's not the.
That's
the
the
reason
only
I don't,
one I like.
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't like the opus, but I like the añejo, like you're saying. So the
And the only
Majestic-
difference is the wrapper,
Majesty
really.
is that's the only thing I can think of
I
why I don't
occasionally-
like the opus.
Every once in a while, I'll get an opus that I've liked. I mean, it's
It's hit or miss.
yeah. it
More
is.
miss than hit.
Now the ESG I think is really good. Expensive, but
Very expensive.
yeah, actually. it's
I haven't
expensive
seen
than
an ESG on the shelf anywhere in a long
opus.
time.
I know where
We
you
don't
can get
carry
some.
them.
I know where you can get some.
Oh,
Why am I not surprised?
whoa! I love Hulk. Those guys are great. Anthony's a great guy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna throw out a couple of other
Shout out to
regions
Anthony.
that you haven't heard of
And
before.
South,
La Vega is one. Banao is another. Dahaba is another.
yeah, you just throw words.
And San Juan de la Magras, which is interesting. I wonder if Dan Magras comes from there.
Maybe.
What about the Deputy-Terni?
The what?
I've heard of that.
Deputy-Terni region?
Deputy-Terni?
Region, yeah.
Don't know it. Just make it up, but I give up. All right? I just give up.
Hang in there.
I read that somewhere, I'm telling you.
They had to add all of these regions in the Dominican Republic while they were in the early 2000s, while they were building their way up to 350 million premium hand-rolled cigars a year. And as
Really?
I think I mentioned last week, 9 billion machine-made cigars a year
Yeah.
come out of the Dominican Republic, which is an astounding number.
That is an astounding number. What's the name? Middleton. What is it? What is it now?
Well, Middleton is...
Yeah, well, no, not Phillies. The machine-made stuff that Middleton used to make.
Middleton doesn't make the Phillies?
black and mild. I don't
Yeah,
think
they
so.
were
owns the
primarily
baseball team,
black and
Owns the
mild.
Phillies.
Yeah, but
I'm not
it's,
sure I'm
it's
saying.
Altria. I'm sorry, it's Altria now. They were making 1.8 million cigars a day.
A day.
A day. So 9 billion isn't really out of the realm of possibility.
Well, so they were at like 300 or 400 million a
That's
year.
just one machine would make 1.8 million a day. Yeah.
One machine or one
One
machine
machine.
factory?
One machine. That's how many they made a day. I'm telling you, I know a guy who worked there and who serviced the machines. He says that's how many they put out a day.
You know what machines are really cool? If you ever took the tour at J.C. Newman,
Oh, I did that.
they had a long filler cigar rolling machine that didn't use the homogenized stuff. It took 4 people to run the machine, and it only made about 1,000 cigars a day,
That's
which is a
less
lot
than-
better than a person.
That's less
Yeah.
than 1.8 million, isn't it?
Yeah, but this was long filler, so it's more like a hand rolled cigar with full leaf in it, but it's a machine that does the act, and it's fascinating to watch.
Oh, God.
And the machine is about 100 years old. They can't even buy parts for it
It's
anymore.
probably green.
They have a guy who has to make parts every time something breaks
So I have a machinist on staff.
on staff.
They have a machine-made cigar, and you hand rolled it yourself. Because I did that. There's actually I have a picture of it of me rolling it.
I did that too.
Yeah.
Where they machine bunch it and
The
then
machine
you
bunch
roll
it.
the wrapper
Right,
onto it.
exactly.
Was
Yeah.
That's
Which
it.
one's that? Is that the factory throwout?
I think so.
Okay. Well,
But that's why it's called hand rolled,
As
not
opposed-
handmade.
Right.
That's why they're two different things.
right.
Or in Spanish, the difference between hecho a mano or totalmente hecho a mano,
Right.
made by hand or totally made by hand.
I can honestly say when I rolled them, I made them by hand.
I can honestly say that the one time I attempted to roll a cigar at my factory, the whole factory had to shut down because all the rollers were too hysterical laughing at me. They couldn't do anything.
Was this the day before your shot or the day after your shot?
I wasn't getting shots back then.
Oh God!
I, on the other hand,
Woohoo.
at Don Pepin's factory,
Won a contest, I know.
in Nicaragua. Yes, won a rolling contest, judged by
AJ.
Dom
Dom Pepino.
AJ.
Same thing.
The same thing.
The nice thing about it, when I rolled
What
the
did you get
cigars
for it?
at Macanudo,
Box of cigars.
Did you?
they gave us,
AJ's?
I picked the blend out, rolled one cigar, and they rolled 9 more cigars and gave me a 10-count box. I just smoked the last one,
Oh, really?
and I went down there in '05.
What,
just smoked
what
the last
cigar
one.
was it?
It was a Macanudo,
That's probably Jamaican tobacco then.
might have been.
Maybe. Yeah.
Jamaican and
2005,
Mexican.
Yeah, 2005. That's when Kenny and I went down there
Yeah, I remember that.
to General, and but we went to the Macanudo factory, and then we went to the one where the duty-free area. We went to the factory there too.
Oh.
That's cool.
When my younger daughter was about 8, I brought her down to my factory to see, how things worked and what was going on. And she rolled a cigar with the supervisor. And we put it in a glass tube, and I told her I would smoke it the day she got married. And I did.
Yeah.
And it tasted wonderful. It looked like crap,
Well,
of
it tasted
course.
as
It
long
was
as it was
rolled
good.
by an untrained 8-year-old. But it tasted good.
That's good.
And of course, it had great significance.
When I went to Rocky, they did the same thing. I get to pick out the blend too. You can pick out the blend and you put it together, or they put it together. I didn't roll it. And then they gave us one when we
didn't win
came
a
up with the
contest,
blend. No, I did not win a contest because we didn't roll.
Okay.
But then he gave us a 5-pack of that blend, and I still have one left. And I still think I think it's the one, the 2003 blend that Rocky has, because it was the only one out of all of us who went. You didn't go, from what I hear.
From what I hear.
That had a Cameron wrapper on it, and they came out with that not long after it. So I think it was my blend, but what are you gonna do? They
The
can't
guy-
prove it.
The guy who used to be my national sales manager.
Dan DeSantis?
No. Dan was never my. But
have to know Dan DeSantis.
since you mentioned that, I will say that when I hired this other guy to be my national sales manager.
Charlie?
No, he was before.
Okay.
He was part owner. When I hired the national sales manager, Dan DeSantis, who is the droopiest, saddest, most depressed person you could imagine, said to me, "I don't think you should hire him. He doesn't have a killer instinct." Which I thought, Dan.
Yeah.
So him talking about killer instinct is kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, the guy who I
I
hired.
love Dan though.
Dan's the best. The guy who I did hire, actually, when he worked for Brick Hanauer in Honduras, 3 years in a row, won the Honduran National Rolling Contest as the best cigar roller. And he was the only gringo to ever win it there.
Wow.
Didn't make him a good national sales
No.
manager, though, in the final analysis.
Rick Hanauer. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
That's because of him.
Well, yeah.
He drove them out of business. And I hired him. Yeah, real smart.
And that's why you're on
Lesson
Cigar Time.
learned.
Yeah, I would say maybe a little too late, but lesson learned.
They had the Santa
Ufa?
Rosa. Santa Rosa was an awesome cigar.
Did you just get a bad taste?
Yeah.
What did it taste like?
Ammonia.
Really?
It's out of nowhere.
This is sneaky.
It's gotten stronger as you get down.
It's getting stronger, but it's also sneaky peppery because my tongue is numb
No,
now.
you don't taste pepper a lot.
You don't
but
taste it at all, but it's
Yeah.
it's a little.
I agree.
It builds. My tongue is numb now.
My tongue, I could taste it on the end of my tongue.
Yeah.
My tongue's not numb because I eat jalapenos off the plant. But yeah, but it's very sneaky. It just
Yeah. Sneaky peppery, man.
I haven't gotten
stealth pepper.
not much pepper at all.
No,
stealth pepper.
but it just
I like
builds.
That's the new
That's the new
strongest
Sure.
pepper of all.
Which
A
is-
stealth
yeah.
pepper.
We're going to call it stealth pepper from now on.
Okay.
It just sneaks up on you.
I like that.
So you got a shot of ammonia.
Really, I
Do you
don't
think it was a
get-
little clump of young tobacco, maybe? I mean, by the time you roll it, there really oughtn't to be much ammonia left.
Oughtn't to be. Interesting.
Ought not.
I got it on that puff a little bit, not as strong as before. So yeah, maybe it was just a spot of something.
Slightly
either
unfermented
that
tobacco.
or-
It can happen.
Either that or I'm smoking this too fast, and I don't know.
No, I am. But
I am too. I'm smoking this very quickly.
we're actually smoking faster than him, which is unusual.
Well, he's busy trying to make up names of regions.
I hope we don't catch him.
You can look any of them up.
I would if I could remember them.
Scott, do we have any events coming up?
Yeah.
By the way, do you know what time it is? No, you're supposed to just say yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we do have some events coming up. First one is tomorrow. Well, there's two tomorrow. One's in Phoenixville with Perdomo from 3 to 7.
Okay.
Cool.
And then also Downingtown has an event with Forged from 3 to 7. And on Friday, Oxford Valley has their movie night from 6 to 9. I don't know what movie it is, but they actually come up with some pretty cool stuff. Allison's pretty creative.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, there's a big event in Quakertown. It's from 11 to 5 with Forged. And I think Holly's running this. And Holly puts together some pretty interesting
Yeah.
events.
She has great events.
Yeah, she does. So there going to be a ton of different I mean, it's with Forged, but she has a lot of local companies and stuff come out and do stuff. It's pretty interesting.
We need that kind of dynamism in the Horsham events.
Yeah. We have them, but they don't show up.
Well, there's no dynamism. There's
Right.
sort of,
The beer
event.
company comes and just drops off beer, and liquor company.
and the
just
rep
drop
comes
off
and drops off.
cigars. Yeah.
At least the last time.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was, we had an Alec Bradley event, and Jonathan Walsh was supposed to do the event, but he got fired that day. So he just dropped off the cigars and left.
Well,
So,
It was nice when they still dropped the cigar, though.
yeah. We didn't know about it.
yeah, they didn't. He didn't tell
He
anybody.
came in the back and
Came in the
dropped
back
them
and
off
just dropped
left.
them off and left. So
We
we
had
did
no
the whole
idea.
event
Really?
Yeah.
on our own with our own stuff.
Wow.
So what else did you have? Were there others?
That was it.
events? Oh,
That's it.
okay. Nice.
Yeah, I guess there's a gap.
I guess we should give our final.
Yeah, I guess so. Good.
I'm enjoying this a lot. It's very complex flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It changes with almost each puff. I'm giving it a 9.5.
Well, very nice. Paul?
I just out of the blue got a new element. It's kind of creamy, but it's also kind of nutty. It's almost like almond milk. So it's creamy and nutty at the same time.
I'm getting that also.
I give this a 9.2.
Okay.
It's sneaky strong. Good news is that ammonia is almost completely gone, so it's probably an anomaly.
Yeah, 'cause that's very good. I'm not getting that at all, so.
That
it's
hurt to
just-
say.
Yes.
That's a sea
And I'm-
creature, isn't it? An
I don't
anomaly,
think
a
it's
sea
changing
anomaly.
as much for me, but I can't identify all of the different flavors, which is sometimes pretty good. I mean, I did get the up front the sunflower seeds. I thought was clear. I would agree with I am getting a little bit of creaminess too. I'll give this cigar 9.25.
The ball's in your court, sir.
Yeah. The retro hail has gotten much smoother. I no longer get that harshness through the retro hail.
You should do it again. Maybe you won't sneeze.
It's a very complex cigar. It really is. Yeah, the retro hail is. I could retro hail this whole cigar because it's that good through the retro hail.
I'd like to watch you do that.
Well, it's interesting that it's Nicaraguan Puro, and they've made it. I guess it affirms what we've always said about the fermentation and the aging and the regions and the soil. That it's a Nicaraguan Puro, and it's really complex. You would, most people say, oh, okay, it's pretty straightforward, but it's not.
I'm not getting any of the cocoa that normally
Comes
comes
with
with Nicaraguan tobacco at all.
No.
It's interesting to me, in overall character, this tastes more like a Honduran than a Nicaraguan.
You know what?
Yeah.
I wish I would have said it earlier because now it looks like I'm copying you. But I thought that too, Paul. So,
Thank you.
It does.
to salute, Paul.
It's incredibly smooth, and I get a lot of the cream, and it coats my entire palate. And it is sneaky peppery, because my tongue is still numb.
That's the one thing
Really?
no,
You're not getting that?
not at all. That's
Okay.
normally like my go-to. That's the thing I identify usually.
Yeah, I'm getting on the tip of my tongue, but I'm getting the creaminess in the rest of my
Yeah,
mouth.
exactly.
Any specific? Is it black pepper, white pepper, red pepper?
White.
White pepper.
probably.
Definitely white.
Definitely white pepper.
White pepper.
I hate to do this, but I agree with Scott. It's a 925 for me. It's a fantastic cigar.
You know, another interesting thing to me, at least, is that as much as I liked it when I first lit it, the back half of the cigar is like a
Is-
completely different cigar.
Yeah, and I think it's better.
Much better.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I would have given the front half a 9.5 and the back half a 9, but overall,
Really.
yeah, I like
I'm
the
the
front half
exact
better.
I like the
opposite of you.
I like the back half better.
Interesting.
Yeah, it gets more creamy and more
Why does that
richness
sound
of
like a
taste.
dirty joke?
Maybe you guys lit the wrong end.
Yeah, maybe.
It's highly possible at this point in my life.
By the way, you should peel the wrapper off and see if there's a line.
Yeah, next time, take it out of the cellophane.
Let's tell that story. Yes. What a dumbass.
You'll get no argument
Nope.
from any of us. Even them, they know.
Cool.
Them.
Watch
The multitudes out in
TV land.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I found a new pencil.
is it from the house?
Does it
Does
have the mark of the house?
Pascucci?
Nope.
You took it off, didn't you?
What are you talking about?
But it looks
it
like
off.
he's covering it up with tape.
just picked it up. It was like,
No, you didn't. That's very funny. All right.
It's kind of pitiful.
Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.
smoke 'em if
Keep
you
us
got
on
'em.
almost 10 years now on the show, doing the show.
yeah, we're from 8 years to 10 years in a span of 20 minutes.
Almost. No, it's
It's a very fast 20 minutes.
2013.
Tell them to stay tuned for the Saturday show.
That's
No,
Saturday
don't
show's on.
stay tuned for.
Hopefully-
back next
hopefully
week, though.
We'll have packs next week.
Yeah, maybe.
So, I like doing the hour show.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Okay.
thanks for watching, and
Ciao for now, everybody.
Oop.
Life's too short to smoke cheap cigars.
stealing my lines.